Hey guys, you got your sarcastic health nerd here. And today I would like to talk to you about omeprazole and other antacids. So, antacids are a huge part of our culture and society. Especially in America, a lot of people suffer from heartburn. Okay, it's huge. It's a huge industry. It is a huge epidemic. Everyone gets heartburn, it seems, after the age of, well, crap, it's starting earlier and earlier. But I'd say after the age of 30, most people are susceptible to developing some type of heartburn problem. I started getting heartburn. I'm 26 now. I started getting heartburn when I was in 6th grade. Okay, I was morbidly obese, extremely overweight, and I started getting heartburn. The most heartburn-causing food for me was ramen noodles. For some reason, eating a cup of ramen or a pack of ramen noodles, cook that thing up. Oh, so good. So cheap, and the cheapness made it taste better, but I would get ridiculous heartburn from that. I mean, pain and agony beyond agony. And unfortunately, I didn't start taking antacids until I was, in college. So, I mean, the heartburn came and went with certain foods while I was overweight, while I was in middle school and high school, and then in college it got like ridiculous. So I wasn't alone. You know, a lot of people in my family had heartburn issues too. My mom, who's in her early 60s, has really bad heartburn, and she's taking 80 milligrams of omeprazole a day. And to give you an idea about the dosages, this is over the counter, okay, it's 20 milligrams. You can't buy anything more than 20 milligrams per pill over the counter. Prescriptions come in, I believe, 30, 40, and probably up to 80 milligram pills. I mean, you could always just buy the over-the-counter 20 milligram pills and take 2. I'm not a doctor. Don't, use my medical advice. I've done that because I've had heartburn that bad. I went to the doctor on multiple occasions with heartburn issues and asked for a prescription. And the first 2 times I went, they told me no. And just said, here, use Prilosec. One doctor gave me a prescription for Prilosec 20 milligrams, which doesn't make any sense because at that point, why not just get over the counter? It was kind of silly. So why does our culture suffer from such bad heartburn problems? Okay. There's a bunch of different ways I could go with this. I could say, oh, it's the quality of food, it's not eating vegetables, it's not getting enough sleep, it's the stress, it's not getting enough physical exercise. You could probably argue any kind of health-related, matter that's plaguing our society. Any one thing we should be doing or shouldn't be doing is causing a huge heartburn epidemic. But I'm going to argue that the biggest contributing factor is not the foods we eat, it's actually stress. So why does stress lead to heartburn? Okay, so important digestion involves, or effective digestion involves a couple of different things. First, you got to eat the food. Who knew? To digest food, you got to eat it first. Most people have no problem with that. No problem putting the food in their mouth and getting it in their body somehow. The second part of digestion is actually chewing really, really well. I don't think that's that big of an issue. And I don't think it's that big of a deal, because however poorly we might chew, our stomach's going to, deal with the rest of that. Okay? Now, what happens after we chew? Gets into our stomach, and then our internals handle the rest of the digestion. So, that's actually a pretty energy-intensive process. It takes calories to digest and assimilate the food. It takes effort, okay? Think of, you have to go to work all day, you stand on your feet, you're doing a million different things. It requires a lot of effort. You burn a lot of calories. It's something that you do. It's a will. But digesting food is, think of, you go to work and you do a lot of things, you do a lot of actions, procedures. When you eat food, your body does a lot to digest that food. And so, if you eat a big meal and go to work and you have a very stressful job and you're doing a lot and you're moving a lot and you're thinking a lot and you're stressing a lot, then that's energy that your body can't use to digest the food. Okay, important digestion could perhaps, or the most effective digestion would perhaps be eating a big meal and then sitting and watching TV, maybe taking a small walk, nothing too stressful. You need to relax after you eat a big meal and let your body do its work. So you need to not do any work of your own, okay? Because it just adds to the labor load put on the body by digesting the food. And so, in our culture today, much of our food supply is marketed or created around convenience. Some examples, you see those 100-calorie packs. Everything in the grocery store has some kind of miniature packet form of it for convenience. Look at something as simple as like applesauce. It comes in jars. It's much cheaper, but you could pay a little bit more, and they come in little cups. Just throw it in your lunch bag. Grab a granola bar, individually packaged. Throw it in your lunch bag. A lot easier because you don't have the time. There's a lack of time for preparing your meals, and then there's also a lack of time for digesting the food. Yes, the body's perfectly capable of digesting things on the run, but at the same time, it takes a lot of energy to break down and assimilate the food. Okay? Now, I want to talk about getting tired after you eat. They used to say, or they still do, they tell you that if you eat a big meal and you get really tired, you got diabetes, you got blood sugar issues. Maybe not. Maybe, most people get tired after they eat a big meal because their body doesn't want them to do anything. The body wants them to rest so they can digest. And I would also argue that a huge cause of the energy deficit that many people have after they eat is simply caused by blood flow getting diverted to the stomach to digest and break down the food. So that's less blood going to your muscles, to your brain, unfortunately. It's harder to think. You get tired. And you have very, 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 again, little energy. But if you push through that, say if you eat a meal and you go work out, or you go for a jog, or you're at work and it's very stressful, and you sit at your computer, you're thinking, then you have to go to a meeting, and you're talking, you're contributing, you're very animated, and you're just go, 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 that food might not digest for 5+ hours because the blood flow can't even get there. I used to eat a big meal and then go out and jump rope. Okay, fine. Jumping rope is a very cardio-intensive exercise. So my body would love to give tons of blood and put tons of energy into my stomach to digest the food, but there's no way. Okay, if I'm jumping rope, it's like, okay, it might think I'm running away from a lion or something. That gets priority. If I was to eat a big meal and lift weights, that gets priority. So it's going to be hard at first because the body's like, oh, I'd rather just digest the food. I don't want to have to spend this energy doing other stuff. Fine. And we're going to go into glycolysis because that food's not going to be digested in your bloodstream. You know, the majority of it, maybe a little bit. But it's going to be like, fine, we'll do whatever you got to do. And it's going to go into glycolysis if the exercise is intense enough. And it's going to start breaking down blood sugars and releasing it from the liver into the bloodstream. And all this is very, very energy intensive. So your body's going to provide you with energy. But you might think, well, I just ate a big meal. I got tons of energy. I could work out all day. Well, that energy is probably not coming from the food you ate. That's coming from your liver. It's coming from stored energy. It's coming from the meals you ate yesterday. So you work out, and then what? You sit down, you relax, you take it easy, your body's going to recover from the exercise, things are going to return to normal, and then you're going to start digesting the food. But in our culture today, you don't have time. You don't have time to sit and relax. You went and you did your workout. It's the morning. You ate your breakfast. You went and worked out. Now you got to go to work. So you're working all day. It's stressful. You're talking to your boss, and oh my, he's driving you up a wall. You can't stand it. And you hate your job. It's ridiculous. So all that stress, your body's like, oh, you're going through a stressful situation now. You're afraid of a lion in the jungle, and you got to look out, and you got to be focused. We don't have time to digest this food. We got to put energy into surviving, into dealing with threats. And if you have a very stressful job, which many, if not most of us do, got to make ends meet, then your body has to deal with that stress first. Stress gets priority. Okay? Your body wants to make stress go away. And it has to make that go away before it can do other things like digest food. So what happens? The food is still undigested, or it digests very, very, very slowly. Okay, so what does this mean? You might be thinking, well, it digests very slowly. That's great, you know, less blood sugar up. No, the stress is very bad. And you want, if you're healthy, you want that food to digest and assimilate very quickly. So your body can then, since it's stored all its energy, it put all its calories where it wanted to put it, in your liver, in your muscles, in your fat stores for later use. Don't be afraid of that. Then it can deal with whatever. And you're going to be primed. With that stored energy, with that stored meal, now you can go and deal with your stress, and it's going to be a lot less stressful and much easier to deal with. So how does this lead to heartburn? Well, this food might sit in your stomach a lot longer than it should. And that can be bad. That can lead to the food rotting. That can lead to, the stress itself can lead to an overproduction of acid to digest the food. Or it can lead to a lack of acid production. And this is highly debated. A lot of holistic doctors like to say that heartburn is not caused by too much acid being produced. It's caused by the food not breaking down and rotting in your stomach. And that rotting, that fermentation, all of that causes acid to be produced. But I would argue you might have that, and then you have the acid your stomach produces put on top of that. Okay, and if you consume, you try to be healthy, and you consume a lot of vegetables, a lot of fiber, and your body's not digesting that properly, it backs up. It backs up, it backs up, and say your intestines get filled up, you might get constipated because it's not digesting properly. All this stuff backs up, and that can lead to heartburn because things aren't moving the way they should be. You need to think of your body as if it was a factory. It's got to take this food, take the materials, break them down, put them where they need to go, make new cells, make new things, excrete the waste as quickly and as efficiently and as non-stressful, as it possibly can. Non-stressfully, if you can say it that way. And if it doesn't do this, the digestive system is stressed, the food isn't moving out quickly, the nutrients aren't getting utilized efficiently, and then we have the byproducts of that, which can be heartburn. So using an antacid is a good temporary fix, because obviously too much acid, we know, is bad. It leads to stomach cancer and esophageal cancer, and it just sucks. It hurts. It's not fun. It's very painful. But really the best way to handle this, if you go out and buy an over-the-counter antacid, you're going to find that it says, use only for 90 days, or use the course, and then if heartburn continue, see a doctor. Well, what's a doctor going to do? They're just going to prescribe more antacids. So, what's the solution? The solution, unfortunately, requires a little bit of a lifestyle change. You have to give digestion attention. You have to put effort into letting your body be able to digest the food. But then there's an upside too. If you have good digestion and a good metabolism, you can go longer periods of time without food. And this is something that I've found in my life. I think this is why so many people like intermittent fasting. Eating in a very short, 6 to 8 hour window, and then not eating at all for the rest of the time. And in my experience, during the eating window, I'm shot. I mean, I'm consuming all this food, I can't do anything. I'm totally drained of energy. But then during the fasting window, which can last for 16 to 18 hours, or longer, less time, it's very flexible. You have a lot of energy, because your body is not using energy to digest the food. It's not saying, wait, stop, relax. We gotta focus on digesting and assimilating. So, if you intermittent fast, you can go those long periods of time without food, because you eat the food, you get it, and your body digests it and assimilates it, and then you're running off that fuel for an extremely long period of time, and your body's not digesting. You can do whatever you have to do. But I would say less meals, less frequency, or simply if you can give digestion the attention that it deserves, that's how you can mitigate the problems related to heartburn. So if you want to do 3 meals a day, that's fine. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And I would say eat dinner later. Unless you have like a night job or something like that, eat dinner around like 7, 8 o'clock at a time when you can just relax after you eat. Don't eat right before bed, because that digestion slows while you sleep, and it can mess with your sleep. If you have heartburn issues. If not, then this video is completely useless to you. You can just eat however you want to eat. So I would eat an early breakfast if you want to eat breakfast. I mean, the point is to eat your meals and then relax a little bit. Or eat a light meal if you can't relax. Something that's easily digestible. Or something that doesn't take a lot of energy to digest. So that would mean for breakfast, have a low carb, maybe breakfast. Something that's not going to spike your insulin. That's going to take a long time to digest, but it does not take a lot of energy. It just takes time. It just takes bile. A low carb breakfast. And then for lunch, something that's not too taxing on digestion and the insulin and all that. And then for dinner, you know, eat it at a time. Make that your biggest meal. And then eat it at a time when you can relax afterwards and let the body digest. And then doing that may make your heartburn go away. Might not. I'm not a doctor. If you need antacids, I recommend taking the antacids, but try to get off them. Because the acid is very damaging. So that's all, guys. Hope this helped you a little bit. I still have to take antacids here and there. And I think that's related to how overweight I was. But I don't have to take them as often as I used to, which is powerful because I used to have to take like 40 to 60 milligrams of omeprazole a day. So I hope this helped. Let me know what you think.